These eyes have seen something so horrific, so horrendous, it's unimaginable.
We knew that we would be killed off. We could not escape, so all we could do was say goodbye to each other.
14 years ago, she said goodbye to her husband, their 2-year-old, and infant. Then the Rwandan genocide came roaring to Jeanette near Baganwa's town.
They started shooting at us. Then they forced the gate and came in and started slashing people with machetes and sticks with nails in them. I fell down and was soon covered with dead bodies. After 2 days, I woke up. Birds were eating my dead children. This was too much for me. I wanted to be killed.
Today, 14 years after the genocide, Jeanette's life has changed dramatically. She not only survived the horror, but went on to prosper in the years since. Each spring during the anniversary of the genocide, Rwandans gather to talk about the past. It's part of the reconciliation process. Like Jeanette, Rwanda has changed dramatically since 1994. Rwandan IDs no longer list ethnicity, and the IDs are just the beginning. One of the most interesting changes here is the role of women. Traditionally, this was a male-dominated society, but men were killed in greater numbers during the genocide, and afterwards only represented 40% of the population. Out of necessity, women got more involved. Now the gender balance is back to just about even, but the role of women here continues to grow. Women make up nearly half of the Rwandan parliament. That's the highest percentage in the world. Many business leaders are women. And even in remote villages like Maraba, society has changed. Women like Jeanette are the proof.
Before, Rwandan society dictated that women had to stay at home to look after the kids in the house. Now, as women, we are in everything. We are developing a country with women in a different role.
Jeanette's story begins here, in these hills in southwest Rwanda, where her family has run a small coffee farm for generations.
My parents' house was up there on the hill.
Before the genocide, she spent her days walking these hills, doing chores like picking the beans and tilling the soil. That was the women's work. Her father and her husband managed the money and did the selling. But during the genocide, her whole extended family was obliterated. Out of several hundred, she was the only adult who survived. So she took over.
I could never imagine that I would run this coffee farm, but after a while, I realized that no one will do it for me. I have to do it myself, to run my own business.
So she hired a couple of helpers and joined a cooperative that taught her about producing better quality coffee, about using fertilizers and mulch, and when the best time is to harvest the beans. The care she puts into her trees has paid off. The size of the small farm has stayed the same, but using the technique she learned at the co-op, she now produces a greater quantity of coffee than her husband or father ever did. More importantly, she has increased the quality of the harvest, so it fetches more money. All told, she earns 3 times more money than her husband did before the genocide.
My grandfather never would have believed where I am now.
This is Maraba Coffee, the USAID-funded cooperative that Jeanette belongs to. Aid groups working in Rwanda have been actively promoting women's involvement in their projects. And for good reason. Women here and in other developing countries nearly always outperform men. The co-op's membership is about evenly divided between men and women, but 90% of the organization's premium coffee is produced by women. The director of the co-op has a simple explanation.
Men work hard in the morning, but then in the afternoon they just drink beer. Women work the whole day.
And when women earn and control their family's money, less is spent on the local brew, banana beer. But experts say it's much more than alcohol. Women tend to spend more on their families, on good clothes for their children, education, and nicer houses. And this empowerment, More than women parliament members or business leaders is changing the very social fabric of Rwanda.
There's been a social change here. You can see it in the families. They're eating better. You see girls going to school, wearing nice clothes. They have books and everything.
At Jeanette's house, it's almost lunchtime. In addition to herself, only a couple relatives from the extended family survived the genocide. Her two nieces help her prepare the meal. Jeanette has become their adoptive mother. She also cares for two of her nephews, who wait patiently for food to be served. Gender roles might have changed out on the coffee farm, but here, it's still the women who serve the boys.
I have to make sure that they have enough to eat and to wear. But after that, my first priority is education.
In the past, girls rarely completed school. Families could not afford it. Jeanette spent her youth working in the coffee fields, not in school. But now that Jeanette is making enough money, she insists that her adoptive kids stay in school. One of the girls plans a career in accounting. Jeanette is her role model.
Before, they thought women were incapable of doing business, but today you can find them everywhere. For example, Jeanette is in coffee business and she's better than some men.
Back at the cooperative, Jeanette is busy preparing her coffee for export.
The coffee is going to England, it's going to the United States. I'm proud of this. I would never have thought I would be in a situation like this. I never thought I could come back, but I did.
The size of her farm, 800 trees, is considered small in Rwanda. Although it provides enough income for her family, she has even bigger goals.
My hope is to have a bigger coffee farm. Then I could use it as collateral to get loans from the bank and become a big businesswoman like Epiphany.
Jeanette was talking about this woman, Epiphany Mukashiaka. A few miles down the road from Maraba, Epiphany runs one of the largest coffee companies in Rwanda. She learned her techniques from the Maraba Coffee Cooperative. Now she alone exports more coffee than the whole cooperative does. Her business is growing rapidly, so she needs as much coffee as possible, and these small farmers are eager to sell it to her. But she only wants good coffee, coffee that'll fetch the highest prices.
In 2002, when I started the business, I produced around 6 tons. In 2004, I produced 13 tons.
For the next few years, she reinvested revenues and built 2 washing stations like this one, where her workers sort the beans and sing songs, often about their boss. In the genocide, Epiphany lost her husband and all her possessions. From nothing, she built a business that exports more than $1 million worth of coffee a year. She employs 128 people, most of whom are women. And she's a role model for women villagers like Jeanette, who through the cooperative exported 1.5 tons of coffee. Epiphany's business is an example of what is possible.
Last year, I produced 72 tons. This year, if everything goes as planned, it will be 145 tons. I can say that life is now much better than before, and in the future, it's getting better and better.